Hi everybody. With climate change baked in now and going to happen, one of the things you might want to think about is food security, because it's going to become harder and harder to grow food commercially, and so some people are going to miss out. And one of the plants that is underestimated in Australia is the good old lima bean. As you can see, this is a single plant and it's pretty big. The lima beans come in two flavours. You can get climbing lima beans or you can get bush lima beans. A climbing lima bean will climb about 5 metres. A bush bean doesn't really have any tendrils that twine. It's just bushy and has a lot of flowers, as you can see. There's lots of flowers on it. It produces quite a bit of food. In the USA and Europe, eating big beans is a thing, and a bean such as a lima bean is probably the biggest bean we've actually got in Australia, and biosecurity rules mean you can't get any more food crops into Australia, so you've really got to just go with what's there. So the lima bean is great. You can basically, I'm trimming it off because it's getting a bit big, but I'll be basically harvesting beans. This is the way I harvest them, is to, when they're still green, not when they're dried like that, but when they're still green, you can pop them open, and there's generally 3 or 4 beans in each pod. These are a little past it because it's sprouting. But anyway, let's just assume this is ready for eating. I'd steam these and then put them in a sauce. If you wanted to do Italian, you could use a pasta sauce. If you wanted to do Mexican, you could use a chili sauce. And you could use a white sauce, white cheese sauce, curry sauce.
They're also really nice in a salad.
They're really nice in a salad. So you can actually produce a lot of beans from this tree. The one thing is they do tend to sprout if they're allowed to get wet.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain, so.
Yeah, see, this one's good. It's 2 beans and they're quite big and they're quite yummy.
Yeah, and they're very nutritious lima beans. They have better nutrition than a lot of other beans, and so they're well worth cultivating as a food crop.
Yeah, and you can eat them even if they've sprouted. Doesn't really matter. In fact, some people would say they're healthier once they've sprouted.
Yeah, that's true. Some people would say that, yeah.
So with these ones, the way we've grew them, I've just used a little small trellis down here, and obviously that's not working very well.
No.
So we're going to use a bigger trellis in future. But definitely lima beans are worth considering. There's very few pests. Grasshoppers tend to like them, but they tend to grow faster than the grasshoppers can eat them, and you can generally spot the grasshoppers on them and kill them.
Yeah, so this one's about 2 years old.
Yeah, and our garden at the moment is absolutely inundated with caterpillars because we didn't get a cold enough winter this year, so the moths and caterpillars didn't die. So we've got tons of caterpillars, and they don't affect.
Yeah, they don't seem to be eating the lima bean, do they?
No, no, nothing really eats the lima bean except
so
for grasshoppers. So it's definitely, and it's a heat tolerant bean, which means that as the climate gets warmer, it will do better.
Yeah, and it's a perennial, so
yeah, it's a perennial,
it'll just keep going.
You don't have to plant it every year, and you don't have to
dig
up the garden.
We've already pruned this one several times, but it's just
yeah, it's a bit like Cousin It, isn't it?
Yeah, it just keeps growing.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take you up and see what we're going to do
when we plant more of them.
Yeah. So here's the new way we're doing it. We're using tried and true tomato cages and stabilised with a bar sunk down, and we're going to grow them up and then have them cascade over the top. They can get quite thick in the bottom, as you can see with this one. They have lots and lots of stems. So we're going to try and trim them and get only a few stems sort of going up to more and try and build them in height, and that should make it a lot easier to trim them and keep them a bit sort of tamed.
Yeah,
Okay.
also make it easier if they've gone up and then cascaded down. It'll make it much easier to actually pick the beans themselves.
Yes, and
yeah.
they also won't sprout as much because the humidity makes them sprout. So
Yeah.
if they're more open to the air, they should be less liable to sprout.
And you can see these ones here that are a little bit younger. We've still got some black mesh around them because we had to protect them from the bowerbirds.
Yeah.
Because they will peck them to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're growing really nicely. This is up in our backyard, right at the back near the trees, near the macadamia trees, and we hope that they'll actually become a permanent fixture here and provide us with lots and lots of yummy beans.
Yeah. Okay.